Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of our session on rupee forecasting. Today is the advanced, we're going to show you some of the advanced techniques that we use. So yesterday we talked about our forecasting process that we look at more than 50 variables and we look at everything from the prism of charts. We look at many different time frames and we look at long histories. And yesterday we were talking about, today we'll carry on from this portion. We'll talk about fundamentals a little bit, then we'll talk about how we use statistics and how we use our own errors for forecasting. Okay, so we're going to first take a look at how we use fundamentals. So this is a chart of the US consumer confidence, which is the green line, and the US employment rate. And we had looked at this and said that both were at a multi-year peak and both could fall in 2020. And if so, that could spill over into US equities also. That this could spill over into US equities also, and that, as you know, is what has happened actually. This was another chart that we had made, and we had been looking for the US consumer confidence to come down, and therefore we were looking at Dow Jones coming down. And now, I mean, as you know, that is what has actually happened. And now we are looking at how we use fundamentals. Is we look at the consumer confidence to come down towards minus 40%. Or even towards minus 50%. So I might extend this to here. But what is also important is that when we look at history, we find that whenever consumer confidence has fallen to minus 50% or so on a year-on-year basis, it has also bounced back afterwards, except for the period of the great financial crisis. And this is data since 1977. So unless we have a repeat of 2008, it might be reasonable to expect that consumer confidence, once it falls to minus 50%, later on it can show a good recovery over the next 12 months. Okay, and this we would combine with a chart of the consumer confidence itself. So here, as we showed you this chart yesterday, where we would expect the index to come down towards at least 60 over the next 2-3 months. So say June to, yeah, around June-ish, no, June, July, August-ish. So August 20 compared with, say, around, say, August 19 would have been 125. If we have August 20 coming in at 60, then we'd have a movement of minus 50% or minus 52%. Okay, which is what we are seeing here in this chart, that if we see a movement of minus 52% year over year, then next year we could, or after August, we could see a bounce back in consumer confidence. So this is how we would use fundamentals rather than just rely on news that we get. Of course, events we have to events like the fall in crude below WTI over the last, I mean, on Monday, that is something that we cannot foresee. Okay, so this was a small premiere or a small cover of how we use fundamentals. Now I will share with you that apart from the study of the markets of the 50 factors or 60 factors that we talked about yesterday, a very big thing that we're doing now is using statistics. So I'll show you a few things, one example today. Here we, on this chart, okay, on this chart, we are tracking the spot dollar rupee spot price versus the 8-week moving average. So the axis here shows how many rupees the spot is away from the 8-week moving average. And we look at the current movement out here. Let me get you a pointer. So we find that the spot minus 8-week has come down to 0.75. So the spot and the 8-week moving average today is 75.3534, and the spot minus 8-week is 75 paise above that. So we have the spot is 76.09. Okay, how do we use this? We can say that this is possibly going to come down further towards 0.25. If it comes down further towards 0.25, then we would have that next week the 8-week moving average, 8-week moving average would be 75.56. So if the differential is 50 paisa above that, then spot might be 75.62. Thereafter, if it comes spot 8-week moving average might be 75.84, and if the differential is 25 paisa, then spot might be 76.08. Now, this is one thing. The other thing to see is that having come to say 0.25, will the differential carry on further downwards like this, because this is actually like an oscillator. Here we find that there were two occasions earlier, out here and out here, which is this was in 2011 and this was in 2013, when the spot minus 8-week came down to this line, which is this spot to 25 paise, and then moved back up. Okay, so you see this, that it moved back up here like that. If it moves back up like that, then it could be that even from 76 we could move up to about 2.5. So that could give us 76 plus 2.5 rupees, which would be 78.5. So that could be a possibility to bear in mind. So either, but then we also see that this has happened only twice out of several times. So here, whenever else that the spot minus 8-week has come to cross the 25 paise mark from top, it has tended to go below, except for these two cases, right? So if, I mean, if we look at probability, then probability wise, there could be greater chances that the spot continues to go down, and if it goes down, say to minus 1.5, it could be that we get 76 minus 1.5, so that could be 74.5. Okay, but if this is like, if we are currently in a situation which is an exceptional situation like in 2011 or in 2011 or 13, then we would have to be careful about seeing 78 or 78.5. So this is one way that we use the statistics. Okay, and how now I will share with you how we examine our own errors and how that leads us to forecasts. So, and here is a chart of our error percentages since 2007. Okay, so here we had an error of 12% in November 2008. 2013, the famous time, we had an error of 14.25%. We have also 1.25% in November 16 and say 1.3% out here in May 19. Now, currently our error is in April, our error is currently 7.16%. Looking at this chart, we could either have a situation where our error kind of peaks out here and comes down, but in case our error continues to increase, then our average forecast for May 20 is 71.73, and for June 20 it is 71.78. So if I add 8% to 71.73, that gives me 76.92. And if I add 9% to 71.78, that gives me 78.34. So when I look at what we have forecasted, this is our average forecast that we've had over the last 12 months. 71.73 is the average forecast over the last 12 months that we've made for May 20, and 71.78 for June 20. So when we adjust it with error, this is a possible scenario that we get for the dollar rupee. So this is another method that we have for forecasting forecasting dollar rupee using our own errors. So that was how we examine our own errors. So this covers our time, and I hope I have given you an overview of our forecasting process, which, just to recap, we look at several variables and we use charts to study them. We look at many different time frames, and we look at very long histories. We look at fundamentals also, but in a manner which is different from what most other people look at. We use statistics, we use our own errors, and then we put it all together to try and view trend and target and time and trade. And we are where we are. We have 60% reliability on only directional basis, and we have say 73 or 74% if we take direction and volatility into consideration. I have shown you what we do. I have shown you exactly how we work, so that you get an insight of what you're getting and what we're doing with, for you. Thank you so much.